You are now listening to Saucy but Sweet with Ali McPherson, a podcast where nothing is off limits, where we talk about everything from romance, sex, pop culture, and everything in between. Sit back, relax, and enjoy an unfiltered time where we keep it sweet and always saucy.
Hey fam, welcome to a bonus episode. Look at us meeting twice in 1 week. Aren't you lucky? I'm so excited to announce for the first time ever, we are participating in PODCASTHON, an event in which podcasters shine a light on nonprofits that are close to our hearts. So for this PODCASTHON special, we will be shining a light on an organization that is close to my heart, ASPCA. Shout out to all my animal lovers out there, whether you love cats like me or dogs or both, you must have heard of ASPCA. The ASPCA has been around since the beginning of time, at least for me. Founded in New York City in 1866 as the nation's first animal welfare organization, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, ASPCA, has spent 160 years on the front lines of the fight against animal cruelty, saving, transforming, and protecting millions of lives and continuously revolutionizing how a rapidly changing society cares for animals. And so today, we will be joined by Reina, Director of Administration at the ASPCA Adoption Center. So Rena, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. How are you doing? What's going on?
Thank you so much for having me. And I love to hear that you are a cat person. Would love to have you over at the ASPCA Adoption Center for a tour one day.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, when I had wanted animals before having my first cat, like I'd actually gone to ASPCA and tried to see, like if I can adopt a cat there. Also, at a time I was going through a phase. It's not really a phase because I still want one, but I was going through a time where I was like, I want a dog so bad. So like, let me go to ASPCA. But then I think about it. I'm in a studio apartment. I'm like, actually, we're not going to do that.
Totally get it. Totally get it. Yes. Yeah. I mean, like people think that you need, a big space for a dog, but it just depends also on the personality of the dog too. We have a couple of like couch potatoes who could totally chill in a studio apartment. So we're ready for you whenever you are. And your cats.
And I'm not going to lie, like the cats thing. Nala and Jericho hate dogs. One of my friends came in with her dog once and it was horrible. I said, you have to go. I had to like shove her out the door. Yeah. So I don't think a dog is going to cut it in here. Maybe with a big house, somewhere. Yeah. And so first of all, like, I'm curious to know, do you have animals? Like really what got you into working for ASPCA?
Yeah. So, I love that question. And I love to tell my story because honestly, my path, to the ASPCA started off when I was a volunteer. I loved animals. I still love them. And I wanted to help out any way I could. So then one day while volunteering, I saw a vet walking through the ASPCA Adoption Center in New York, just cradling this tiny animal in her arms. And I remember thinking that day, like, why is she holding some sort of bird looking thing? Is it a turkey? Like, what's a turkey? What's a turkey doing here? We only care for cats and dogs.
Yeah.
And then I got closer and I realized it wasn't a turkey at all. It was actually a cat. And that cat was Kylie. Yeah, poor Kylie. So this cat, Kylie, she had suffered really, really severe chemical burns that I genuinely didn't recognize her as a cat because her ears were singed off. Her skin was really raw and exposed, and her eyes were red and cloudy just because the chemicals had gotten into her eyes. And she couldn't even like walk or blink. I mean, I distinctly remember this image.
Mm-hmm.
And my heart just dropped.
Oh.
And so just to give you a little bit of a background, a good Samaritan actually had found her. Actually, it was technically his dogs that sniffed her out of some bushes. He brought her straight to the ASPCA Animal Hospital in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it was like really touch and go. Our vet team didn't know if she'd survive, like, let alone like walk again. It was just that bad. But Kylie had and still has this unbelievable spirit. She had to go through multiple surgeries, including a skin graft surgery on her neck, months and months of treatment. And somehow she stayed sweet, patient, trusting, and everyone kind of knew who she was at the hospital, staff, volunteers. We were all really rooting for her every single day. And
Mhm.
so as a volunteer, during my volunteer shift, I found myself visiting her constantly, like 30
Mm.
minutes, an hour, like just time just went by, socializing her, talking to her, having her on my lap and just helping her feel safe again, And really,
Mhm.
despite everything she'd been through, she still leaned into affection and she really wanted that like human connection. And it was really that kind of resilience. It changes you, you know.
Wow.
And so finally, when she was strong enough to leave the hospital, I knew that I wanted to foster her because she still had like a long way to recovery. So I had to take on
Mhm.
her whole like medical routine from pain
Mhm.
meds to fish oil for her skin, eye drops twice a day. And I
Mm.
even like bought her a little t-shirt to protect her healing skin since it was
Mhm.
still really raw. And actually, when it didn't fit her, I actually had it tailored because,
Ugh.
my Kylie deserved it and will
Yeah.
always deserve that level of care. And fostering her actually turned her into what we like to call at the ASPCA foster fortune
Mm.
because I had no choice. I ended up adopting her. I loved her so much, and I still love her. She's an integral part of my family, both with the four-legged and two-legged. And
Mm.
so, really going back to what you were saying, like that was really the moment I realized, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And Kylie just changed everything for me. And so now, in my role as director of administration of the ASPCA Adoption Center in New York City, I get to support the mission from behind the scenes. So
Mm.
I do all the overseeing of the data and the budgets, working
Yeah.
with the communications team and getting to meet cool people like you and interviewing
Yeah.
with people like you and
Yeah.
managing cross-departmental projects. It's a lot of logistics and spreadsheets, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to animals like my Kylie, and she's my soul cat. And
Yeah.
she's the reason why I'm here.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I love that story, and I think about my journey with, my cats, like, you would never know it, but I actually hated cats most of my life, like, hated them. I was scratched by one as a kid. I remember being so scared. I was in someone's house. I was a kid, and when you get scratched by a cat, like, I don't wanna use the word traumatic, but it's like it feels like that as a kid. You're like getting a dog bite. It makes you just scared. You and so I was like, they're mean, blah, 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 and then finally I got to a point where I was like, I can't get a dog because I was living with my mom at the time, and I was like, I can't get a dog, can't take care of the dog, I work all the time, whatever. So I was like, let me get a cat. Let me see what that is like. I had to beg my mom. I remember I literally bought all the stuff before she said yes, hoping she would just say yes. And then at the time, my boyfriend now, but at the time he was my friend, he had kinda heard that I was looking to get a cat. He was like, "Oh, well, my cat just gave birth." And then I ended up getting that cat, and that's Nala that I have had for, like, almost 3 years now, which is crazy. And Nala hates that cat, by the way. N Her mom basically it's a mess. It's crazy. Um,
She's like,
and
I'm
then
done nursing you. Get out. Right?
oh, they Nala hates her, like, it's so bad. I remember one time my friend who has one of those cats too, because my boyfriend gave the cats to different people. So one of my friends, me, and then my boyfriend did something so stupid. We had the cats all come together for, like, a little, like, photo shoot thing, and it goes how you expect it to have gone.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah, don't dress up your cats and don't think that they're gonna like each other just because 'cause they're related. They're not. And then also, I got Jericho about 2 years later. I got Jericho, who's, here and doesn't wanna be on camera. Um, and that was been great. He's crazy. He wakes me up in the middle of the night, so does Nala. It's kind of a nightmare, but also it's like that love you have. It's kinda like a your child, where it's like no matter how bad it is, they're like your children. Like, I had to go to the vet because and I hate the vet with my I cannot me and my cats both hate the vet equally. Um, Nala had been throwing up, and it was so bad that I had to go to the vet, and the bill's over $1,000. How am I gonna pay that? I don't know. But, crazy. What happens when you go to the emergency vet? Over $1,000.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's like when you step in, you get hit with that bill, just for stepping in.
Oh my gosh. But again, it's like when you have a baby, you're not gonna be like, "Oh, whatever." You're gonna be like, "Oh, let me take my baby to the hospital even if we don't have Medicaid," or something like that. Like, it's that type of thing, and I've never thought that I'd be this person, but I am. Um, so yeah, I'm an animal person, guys, and I'm not ashamed.
Love it. I love it. And it sounds like you're a really, really responsible pet parent, and you want the best for them, including family photo shoots that don't work out in the end.
Don't worry, I had to throw out the lion mane because Nala was named after Nala from Lion King. I had to throw that out because she was like, "I'm not wearing it." She's like, "I'm not," and I was like, "Okay, this is torture for me and her, so we're gonna get rid of it."
All right,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to include that at the end of your podcast for everybody to see.
for sure, definitely, definitely. And then Jericho's usually a bat. He hates it, but he's not as bad as Nala is with it. But he's a bat, so those are cute pictures. Probably won't happen again.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they're gonna be insta famous like you.
No, no, it's not gonna happen. I tried. Yeah. Yeah, and curious to know what is an adoption story or adoption thing that you've seen that has really, like, been emotional for you or that really reminded you why you do what you do?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Just so that your listeners can just hear it, every animal is an individual, and shelter staff are experts at making matches that account for the animal's personality and the adopter's lifestyle. At the ASPCA Adoption Center, we're all about conversation based adoption. So we're meeting basically the adopters, like where they're at, what's their lifestyle like, and really trying to make the best match for them. And at the end of the day, this means every animal's story is unique and special. So it's kind of hard to choose just one. And there are lots and lots of adoption stories that stick with me, but the ones that really hit home are the ones that I've gotten to know the animal personally. And like I mentioned before, my role is mostly behind a desk, behind the scenes. And one of the perks is that I sometimes get to foster a cat right in my office. So a couple of months ago, I had this special needs kitten named Tapachi hanging out with me. He had some mobility issues. We weren't really sure what was going on with his hind legs, but we had all these yoga mats like placed all all like in my office. So it was like a yoga mat runway in my office to help him move around without slipping. And he was also a little bit overstimulated. It happens sometimes with cats with some medical issues, but
Mhm.
in any case, also because of his mobility issues, he had some litter box accidents. So we knew
Mm.
we really
Oh,
needed someone really special to take him home.
yeah,
Someone who would really understand his like quirks and be
yeah,
willing to adjust their home so he could thrive.
yeah.
And believe it or not, he found his person.
Wow.
So Tepachi, he is now known as Milo, was adopted by this woman who just loves him. At
Yeah.
first, our behavior team was working through some of the litter box accidents that he was having, but now she sends us like monthly updates.
Yeah.
And honestly, they make my day. Yeah, he has all the
Wow.
toys in the world, all the cozy beds, and we get to see all these like funny playtime videos that just show how loved he is by this adopter.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
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 So really like seeing an animal you've cared for, and this goes the same for our staff too. Really, the animals that you've cared for end up in exactly the right home. It's the best feeling for all of us working at the adoption center, and those are the moments that remind all of us why this work matters.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful story. And as you were saying it, when you said litter box issues, I whoa. Every cat owner or dog owner, especially if you have like a little puppy or something like that, knows what that's like to like have to clean up and be like, "Oh God, what is going on?" My boyfriend's cat, again, there's so many stories, like peed on my couch, and I have never been so angry in my life. Um,
The smell, right? It like sticks with you.
I ran to Petco so fast to get the spray to get. Oh my gosh, and it is a wonder, and it's great that my couch is fine, and, because I just moved in here, so it's new. I was so mad, but again, when you look at that cat's face, the anger just goes away, right? Like, I feel that way when I get angry, you do. I mean, we're human. Just it's probably what you feel when you're fostering them or taking care of them. You're like, "Aw." You know what I mean? They're like helpless creatures, you know? Um, and that's just it's like you have a kid. It feels like you gave birth.
Exactly. Exactly. And, they're just learning, these creatures. You know what I mean? Some things are instinctual, but especially, if a cat is really angry, is not happy with their environment, listen, that's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, okay, I don't like this couch, so I'm just going to pee on it, And then yeah, what can you do? You have to forgive them because at the end of the day, you're just like, you know what? You're my kid. I still love you no matter what you do.
Or what you do. And I mean, hey, some of us, keep doing it where we're like, okay, we'll just keep filling up the litter box and just hope for the best. Or do what I did, buy a litter robot. Over $700. It is a great buy. I'm telling you, anyone with a cat, I know people will be like, it's too expensive. Yes, it is. But it is the best purchase I've ever made.
Worth
Ever.
the investment. And that's the thing about the ASPCA adoption centers. If adopters are like going through any of these like challenges, behavior, medical, we are there to support them throughout
Yeah.
their journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love the support for sure. That's amazing. And for our listeners out there, I know we're talking about, the importance of adoption and stuff like that, but don't think we're not going to get a little messy and a little controversial. We're going to be doing the Reddit Am I the Asshole segment that we usually do. This time it's going to be related to, cats in this specific instance. Yeah, and so I know this is your first time ever kind of digging into Reddit, so congratulations.
Let's do this.
Yes. So this one is called Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Give My Ex-Fiance's Cat Back After Our Breakup? So I, 27 female, am about to break up with my fiance, 29-year-old male. We moved in together in August 2023, and that December, the cat distribution system blessed us with his dream cat, a female tortoiseshell kitten we named Mocha. He grew up with parents who were allergic, so he had never owned a pet before. I was excited for him until I realized how stressful it actually was for him. From my point of view, he was unintentionally borderline abusive toward her, not malicious, just inexperienced and overwhelmed in a way that still wasn't okay. Whenever she begged for attention, as all cats do, he'd get overstimulated, frustrated, yell at her, hiss at her, and then throw her off of him. Not violently, but still throwing a kitten repeatedly because she wouldn't stop wanting attention. He refused to close the door to get space, so the cycle would just continue. Cat wants cuddles, he yells, she jumps back, he throws her again. For my part, I've always handled her gently. She's a snuggly cat. She headbutts my phone out of my hand, climbs on my chest, gives love nibbles, and demands kisses. The worst I ever do is gently set her down or place her on the bed if I'm busy with homework. In August 2024, we ended up with a second kitten, Coffee Bean. Mocha originally bonded to me, then Coffee Bean bonded to me even harder, and Mocha kind of settled for my fiance. The cats are now bonded to each other and to me. We've both been between jobs, but I was the one who took them to vet appointments. They're both registered to me. I handled most cat care, besides the litter box, which he did more often because I had a bad back. Here's where things get complicated. We ended our lease and moved back in with our respective parents. His mom is a hoarder. I have seen that house. It is absolutely not a safe environment for any animal, let alone a curious, high energy tortie who will explore and absolutely could get crushed or trapped under the piles. His plan is to keep her locked in his tiny bedroom 24/7, which is also not healthy for her mentally or physically. To be completely honest, I never intended to give her back once I saw what she'd be returning to. Now that I'm officially breaking up with him, I fully plan on keeping her. She's bonded with Coffee Bean, she has stability, she has her routine here, and she is safe here. He doesn't have stable employment, he doesn't have a safe home, and even when we lived together, he couldn't handle her without yelling or throwing her off of him when overstimulated. Meanwhile, she thrives here, minus occasionally antagonizing my parents' dogs. But torty energy. So, am I the asshole for refusing to give her back?
No, absolutely not. She did the right thing to keep her with her and her parents. Even though sounds like the cats don't get along with their dog. It is much, much better than being, in that kind of cycle of being in a small space, cramped, and not getting, it sounds like, the best care.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with you. She is not the asshole. I think, to be fair, I lived in a small apartment with my mom when I had Nala. And like I mentioned earlier, and she was and that bedroom was so tiny. But the thing was, I had to have her in that tiny bedroom because my mom, she loved my cat, but she was not a fan of my cat being in her room. So she was like, "You got to keep that cat in your room with the door closed while you're at work." And but the thing was, we loved her so much, we would feed her. My mom would take her out sometimes of the room and feed her and play with her. So it was like she was getting that love even though she was in a cramped room. But it sounds like in this situation, it's a cramped room and no love, and that's not okay. you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And actually, I'm glad you actually brought this up because we see a lot of this in some of the cats that we get in actually through our community engagement colleagues. So they
Mhm.
actually go into hoarder homes. And usually hoarding, it's not just animals, right? It's like hoarding of things as well. And we'll get a lot of cats actually from those types of situations. And these cats actually end up being like very fearful because they haven't had all that socialization, right? In these cramped spaces. So even though like your story is totally different, yes, she was in one room, but she was being enriched, with your love and socialized and what have you. It sounds like in this case, this cat is not really getting all of that love and attention that it deserves. So totally, the girl is the winner here, not an asshole at all.
Yeah, and word of advice to her, she didn't ask me, but I'm gonna give it anyway. Next person you date, make sure they love your cats. I am very big on luckily, I mean, I was lucky because my boyfriend, again, was a cat person, and I had kinda his cat, so there was no issue, but, like, anyone, if you're single and you have animals, see how they miss kinda like when you have children and you wanna see if how the kid is with that. I do not date people that are not nice to your animals, that are not nice to animals. That is a big red flag. I'm glad she broke up with him and took the cats.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. You are a true animal person. I love it. I love it that you would never date anybody who doesn't like animals.
And it's like you don't have to love animals, but you can't hate them and you can't abuse them. It's like, why? It's kinda like hating children. Why do you hate children? You don't have to love children, but why what's the I don't like that because the abuse part is, like, scary. So I'm glad that, she was like, "You know what? I'm taking my cats." Both of them, named after coffee, yes.
Yes. Cute names, exactly. Yep, she did the right thing, 100%.
Yes, and so before we go, is there anything you wanna add about the ASPCA? Really, obviously, I think we've given some reasons for why listeners should donate and why it's so important, but, any other things that you feel like listeners should know before we go?
Yeah, yeah. So, just for your listeners who are tuning in, there's so many benefits to adopting from a shelter, whether that is the ASVC Adoption Center in New York City or another organization in your local community. But fostering is also another way that people can get involved if they're not ready for that lifetime commitment. But one thing I do also want to mention is that kitten season is just around the corner. um, yeah, and it's basically when shelters nationwide are overwhelmed with vulnerable and newborn cats coming into their care. It's usually like from spring to fall, with shelters and rescues in some regions like really experiencing a steady stream of kittens like year round. So in any case, one thing I do want to leave for your listeners is that if they happen to find a kitten this season outside, rather than immediately being like, okay, this cat needs to go into a shelter, which is a natural instinct, we recommend pausing to just assess the situation and using actually our online tool called aspca.org/found kittens to just make sure you're making the best decision for the kitten's well-being because mama cat may be hiding nearby and taking care of them. So
Yes, thank you for noting that. That is important to note, for sure.
yes, yeah.
Definitely.
So many ways to get involved, adopting, fostering, donating,
Yes,
even
donating.
volunteering too. So yeah, definitely visit aspca.org to learn more about our work and also about shelters nationwide as well. We have a lot of great information there.
Yes, yes. There we have it. The end of the first bonus episode, I think, of the year. I think so. I don't know. Time is a construct. But thank you to PodCasthON for this opportunity. This charity run event is so important. I hope most more podcasters join in on this. And thank you so much for joining us, Rena. What you're doing is amazing work. And, we'd love to have you back on the show again at some point. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, guys. Make sure you understand that there's some merch too. There's always a link, under the video of our merch. And take some time to donate and visit ASPCA. See you next time. So for the first time, everyone is seeing Jericho and Kylie, right?
This is actually Phoenix. This is another one of my special needs kitty cats.
Phoenix, wow. Yeah. I'm actually surprised that Jericho is still here. He has not jumped yet. But yes, the best thing you can do is get a cat, and he is jumping. He's gone.
There you go. Virtual meet and greet.